What a weekend in the NFL. This was absolutely probably the most fun weekend I've had watching sports ever. Like, whether it's March Madness, Wild Card Weekend, NBA, NHL, MLB playoffs, just a Saturday and Sunday of sports. I don't think I've had more fun, and I didn't even have a dog in the race. As you guys see by the background, I'm a Vikings fan. It's a Vikings YouTube channel, obviously, and I had a great time watching all these other teams just compete at the highest level. But Sunday night, the Bills Chiefs, one of the most entertaining games I have ever watched, and Josh Allen, number 17 on the other side, did not get a chance to respond in overtime. And there's been a ton of debate on Twitter, whatever, any media you go to. What should the NFL do with the overtime rules? There are some people who are completely on one side of the spectrum that are saying change them. This is stupid. Like, Bills didn't even have a chance. And then there are other people saying, like, no, this is what it should be. The Bills, we already changed them once. The Bills did have a chance. Just don't let them get a touchdown. I'm kind of in the middle, and I'm going to be kind of giving my thoughts. It's a more NFL-related video for the offseason. What a wild card or divisional round weekend. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. But what should the NFL do with the overtime rules? Let's talk about it. The NFL overtime rules have really been a debate for a while. If you guys actually remember the 2009 NFC Championship game, the Vikings versus Saints, this was when Brett Favre, you can kind of see him right here, the Vikings jersey, but this was when Brett Favre was with the Vikings playing the Saints at New Orleans in the NFC Championship. That game, crazy game, and it ended up going into overtime. It was very similar to the Bills Chiefs. It was a very up and down, very good game, and it went to overtime. And in that game, the Saints ended up getting the ball first, and this was when the rules were first team to score at all wins. Saints just marched right down and kicked a field goal. I remember just being sick to my stomach, saying, how could they end such a great game on this? On just a field goal, and I think I was around 9, 10, 11 years old at the time, and I just remember thinking to myself, it was so stupid, they need to change this, and then they changed it again. They said, you know what, after that year, if you get the ball first, you have to score a touchdown. And then we saw in 2018 when people really got upset with the rule again, when it was against the Chiefs, and it was Tom Brady. He had 3 straight 3rd and 10s in the AFC Championship game in Arrowhead, and he got the ball first in overtime, and the rest is history. Brady won that game and ended up winning another Super Bowl. And when that happened, people had discussions again. You know, how could we not give the ball back to Mahomes? And I think in a game like this, especially when it's so up and down, it's very easy to say, you know what, both quarterbacks deserve to have a chance. Like, both quarterbacks deserve, no matter what, both quarterbacks should touch the ball. And I agree with that statement. But also, I think people fail to realize, let's just say if that game was 14-14 going into overtime, and it was an ugly defensive battle, you know, Chris Jones was making plays, you know, Tremaine Edmonds, Jordan Poyer, all these studs were making all these plays, and then it gets into overtime, and let's just say the Chiefs go down and score a touchdown on the first drive, which they haven't been doing all game. And then let's just say the Bills got another chance. People be saying, well, what the hell? The Chiefs just scored a touchdown. So in a game like that where it's high scoring, obviously when the team who scores first in overtime, when they win that game, it feels terrible because you just hurt for Josh Allen. And just like the person side of it, when you just see Josh Allen having an all-time great performance and you don't really get a chance. And that's why, like, people say, like, yes, wins as a quarterback, they matter a lot. Like, that's a stat that matters. But they can only control so much. They don't play defense. They don't play special teams. So saying QBs are a win stat, yes, they are. I agree. As a quarterback, you have to win. But you can only control so much. Josh Allen probably had a top 3 performance from a quarterback the entire season. And he didn't even get a chance to go win the game in overtime. What should the NFL do? Because there's clearly going to be a ton of talks about this offseason. It's going to be the talk of the offseason. I guarantee it. So there are people saying, you know, should we go with the college overtime rules? I think college overtime rules would be awesome. It would be so much fun to watch. But you would never get the Players Association to agree to that. There's no way they're going to agree to having a longer overtime than needed. And I guess, yes, it could be shorter if obviously a team scores on the first drive and then the other team doesn't respond. But also we've seen some college overtime games go where the scores are 60-70 and the game's taken 4 hours. In the NFL, I really don't see the players agreeing to that. So then there are also people saying the 10-minute overtime, you get a 10-minute overtime in the playoffs, and it's just sudden death. And I think that is an absolutely great idea. For the regular season, I would keep the overtime rules the exact same. I don't think you should change anything. Listen, if it's a regular season game and it's a big time game and you allow a team to go score 7 on the first drive of overtime, okay, you deserve to lose. It's a regular season game. Like, go stop them once. Like, I hate this notion that, like, oh, you didn't give the Bills a chance. No, you just really didn't give Josh Allen a chance. Just like in the 2018 AFC Championship game, you didn't really give Mahomes a chance. So I think if it's a regular season, keep it all the same. Who really cares? I think, the team still has to win the game by go scoring a touchdown, which is very hard in the NFL. But if it's a postseason, I say you go 10 minutes, overtime, and they play. Just a 10-minute game in overtime, and you play from there. And I get it because it's another quarter of football, which is a grueling experience. So I would stick, if I was the GM, and I would love to be the GM or the commish of the NFL. If I was the commish, I would keep the overtime rules the exact same in the regular season. Just keep them the same. I think they're pretty solid so far. But in a playoff game like that, something's got to change. So you either go to a 10-minute overtime and just let them play, or you could find something else where you say keep them the same, but if a team does score a touchdown, then a team has a chance to respond. But then you could get tricky, whether it's like, well, then do they get to go for 2 because then Mahomes doesn't get the ball, and you could get into it all day. But if I were the commish, overtime rules stay the same in the regular season. You just need to change them for the playoffs. Whether that's a 10-minute overtime or whatever it may be, you just can't have a game end like it did last night. And it can't be the way that I get it. The Bills had chances to win. I understand. But it just can't end like that. Just as a fan, as a person watching the game, I had a tough time falling asleep last night for Josh Allen. I couldn't even imagine Josh Allen. Anyways, let me know what you guys think down below. Skol Vikes. See you guys next time.